Yoda Boys back with another video. Today we're going to be doing a good old-fashioned updated tier list. I know you guys aren't necessarily a fan of this, but I do enjoy making these, and I've played enough 2v2 Arena to individually know how strong a class is, and depending on how much you face a class above 18 to 1900, that's how you know if it's broken. So if you're seeing a class every single game like Resto Shamans, Destro Warlock, Demo Warlock, occasionally Warriors, it's stuff like that that you know is really, really good. So we're going to get straight off in this video, and before we start this off, rest in peace Charlie Kirk. Anybody that's affected by that, hope you're doing well, but I was going to mention it. I mentioned it in my Assassination Rogue video that it is rendering right now, so that'll be out before this one. But regardless, very sad thing that happened. But we're going to get off on the video here. And first thing we're going to start off with is going to be Destro Warlocks. They are my greatest enemy. Not only do they have Perma Dark Pack, on my Rogue, I personally feel attacked when I face these guys. I cannot kill them. I have not been able to kill a single Warlock yet. I don't know what's happening with their defenses, but I feel like it's just too strong. It needs nerfed. Dark Pack needs to be a 2-minute CD, or it needs to be cut in 20. It needs to be cut in half. The shield needs to be cut in literally in half. It's basically acting like a major wall when it should not be doing that. It is a minute CD. You cannot have a cooldown like that in the game. It's ruining the game for the other players because I can't go through it. Even on my warrior, I cannot cut through the dark pack until 60 or 70% dampening. That should never be the case. It should not be like that, and it needs to be nerfed. But all they do is havoc, double coil, and then bolt you in your face for 6 mil. Anybody hitting over a 5 mil right now is automatically going to be high A on this list. Keep that in mind. Anybody that is hitting that high of a crit, even on my sub rogue, I barely hit 3 millions as a major crit. And it sucks. It's garbage. Anybody hitting over 5 to 6 mil, you're broken. Simple as that. So talking about other broken specs, we have Demo Warlock. Another spec that is immortal, has unlimited CC, and their burst is absolutely crazy. They have all 3 aspects, and they have a green ability that hits for like 3 to 5 mil. I don't know if it got nerfed, but I know I'm not getting hit as hard by it, but I'm still getting hit for like 3 to 4 mil. That's a dampening spec. That's not even a burst spec. It's not even supposed to be able to kill you like a sub rogue, but they still do. It is disgusting. You cannot have a class that's immortal, has unlimited CC, and gets the one shot. It's just not going to work. So it's unfortunate that this is where the game's gone, and it sucks, but it is what it is. The next one we have is going to be another broken spec, Ret Paladin. They literally will use this one button. I don't know what it's called. It's something light. Now, it did get nerfed by 15%, but it literally hits for 5 to 6 mil still. So before, it was literally doing an AoE one-shot. I was literally getting one-shotted, and my teammate was dying at the same time, and we were getting one-shotted. They did nerf it, but it's still hitting for 5 to 6 mil on crits. That's too high. You cannot have a burst spec that's doing that much damage with one ability. It is not fair, and it needs to be... You need to just take the ability out of the game. If you cannot nerf it, it can hit for 3 to 5 mil. Like 5 mil as in maximum. That is it. If it hits anywhere, it shouldn't even be possible for you to hit a 5 mil right now. Maybe even 4 mil, just 4 mil. That's fine. If a sub rogue that's pure burst, it's hitting literally only 3 mil. How are you going to give specs like these unlimited burst, unlimited CDs, and everything they can want, and they're doing literally double the burst? It makes no sense. That's just low IQ. It's disgusting, but oh well. So Ret Paladin, really, really good. It actually is pretty insane. The next broken... Oh, by the way, keep in mind, these are not in order. I'm not going to do them in order. These are just all similar. So I know a lot of people don't really understand that. Look at my video, cut through to the end, and be like, oh, you just said this is better than that. Please listen to what I'm saying. They're not in order. So I don't want to make the video 40 minutes long by putting them in order. That just means they're similar. That's it. I'm not saying Demo's better than Ret, that being said, we're going to be talking about healers. Resto Shaman, the best spec in the entire game. There's not a single healer right now that is even close. Resto Shamans are literally, they're broken to a level to where they don't have to cast, and they're doing lay on hands healing. You would think that they had lay on hands permanently. I feel like I cannot kill them. And by the time I do try to get them low, they have Spirit Link, they have Wall, Trinket, and then they just click more totems. Their totems are way stronger now. They have a totem that literally lay on hands their team like permanently, unless you kill it. The problem is they buff the totem's HP, so when I attack it, it's literally like I'm killing an actual player. It is insane. If you're looking to play a healer right now, Resto Shaman is by far the best healer in the entire game. It is not even close. Speaking of broken specs, we have another one which is going to be, where is it? BM Hunter. BM Hunter is another insane spec. Um, Obviously, it just does too much damage. It really does. Its pets are literally soloing people behind a pillar. It should never be like that. Come on now. You can't have a class that just it does major. It's basically a demo warlock. You just let your pets do everything and you kill everybody. It can't. You can't have a. You cannot have an AI spec that does that, because what ends up happening is the skill comes out of the game, and then you just end up not having an idea of what's going on, and then your pets are literally killing everybody. I literally now the good thing about BM Hunter though is they at least die. They at least die. They have a lot of walls and a lot of that stuff. They're really hard to catch versus some certain things, but they're not a strong demo or destro in terms of defensives. They're nowhere near demo, and these two classes are the best defensive classes that's ever existed in the prophecies of WoW. That's how strong they are, in my opinion. So talking about more broken specs here, the next one we have is going to be MM Hunter. Now, I will say MM Hunter is really, really great. It does a lot of burst damage, but again, it's so seeable. When I see an MM Hunter clicking every CD, all I have to do is just permanently CC him during it, and then use my CDs. Now, they're really, really good, but I'm not gonna say MM Hunter is as insane as Destro's. Let's be honest, bro. You can at least peel MM Hunter's damage. Any of these other guys, they're just permanently killing you. At least an MM Hunter is not one-shotting you every second of the game. So I just don't believe it's S tier. I believe it's really insane and it's high A. It's possibly low S tier, but let's be honest, come on now. You rarely see an MM Hunter, and when you do, they do a lot of damage. You may see they're broken, but let's be honest. If they were broken, you would see them every game like you see Demo, like you see any of these classes. Um, so we're gonna get off with that. The next one we're going with is going to be DH. Again, personally, I just don't believe it's S tier anymore. I believe it's really good, but let's be honest. These classes are just so much better. They really are. They're hitting 5 mil crits. How do you compete with that? DHs do not hit anywhere near as much. They do a lot of consistency. It's like an assassination rogue, but they're not hitting 5 mil, 6 mil, 7 mil hits. Anybody that's hitting a 5 or usually a 6 mil, anything above 5.5 to 7 mil is broken, because obviously that's just too much damage. MM Hunters have the possibility of doing that. I've actually seen them hit for like 8 mil. However, it is seeable. It is really seeable. I can at least peel it. I can at least do something to stop it. Obviously, they're still really broken, but I'm not going to say they're S tier. I'm just not going to do it. They're just not S tier. They're really not. They're at least killable. That's the good thing. They're killable, thankfully. Now they might DH has a lot of CDs, but personally, I just don't see them anymore in twos. I don't see any of these guys. I used to see them every game, but these classes are just so much better. They have everything to offer, while these guys are kind of just consistent. This guy does a lot of bursts. It's kind of like the better version of Sub Rogue. But then you have DH that just does a lot of consistency. The next one we have is going to be Assassination Rogue, which is kind of in the same category. The problem with Assassination Rogue is when you're facing people that know how to play against you and they preemptively use CDs, or they, well, for example, evokers. I face a lot of evokers. If they just dispel my death mark, I can't win. I cannot win. I can't beat them. My death mark is my only death mark in Kingsbane. That is your only way to win a game. If people know how to play against you, you cannot win. I have not beat a single Warlock team yet, other than when I went to Mistweaver. So I can't even go locks. I have to go the other target. So Assassination Rogue, really, really insane. Again, these are really, really good, really fun. I would even consider them close to S tier, but I just don't believe them yet. I just don't see them enough, and they're just not really. I don't really see them. I just see these guys every game. The next one we have is going to be Arms Warrior. Arms Warrior is actually pretty good. It really is. I'm not. I'm just gonna say it's still insane. It's really insane. It does a lot of burst damage. I'm still hitting when I on my warrior. I'm still hitting about 4 to 5 mil crits on my executes and my mortal strike. Now the only problem with Arms Warrior is obviously it's hard to catch hunters. It's hard to catch these guys. That's the problem. So people are like, bro, Arms Warriors are no, they're really, really good. I don't know what people are talking about. They're still insane. I don't understand. I log on my warrior and I can now it is still hard if you're playing with certain healers, but I do a lot of burst damage. So I don't know what people are talking about Arms Warrior not being good. It's still really good. What are people smoking? I don't get it. Just because it doesn't one shot does not mean it's not good. Like, how low IQ do people have to be to think that just because a class doesn't one-shot, they're automatically bad? Makes no sense to me, but that's just how it is. The next one we have is going to be Boomy. Boomy is absolutely insane too. Again, another broken spec. However, the only good news about this class is if you are playing 3v3 or solo shuffle, it has to bear form. That's the greatest thing. So while they do a lot of CC and a lot of burst, they're really hard to heal, and they have to sit in bear form a lot of the game. So at least they're not just killing you the entire game. That's the only downplay. But however, they have two incarns, which automatically makes them gods here. They also have unlimited CC. So putting both of those together is that's like a sub rogue with one shot potential and has two shadow blades or um you know. So that's that. Now we're gonna go with sub rogue, which I think is absolutely garbage. After the stamina buff, we finally get a buff and they add stamina. Why? That did nothing at all. It didn't help anybody. It might have helped some people like warlocks that are already unkillable. I literally can't kill a warlock anymore. But sub rogue, unfortunately, it just doesn't do enough. Even on its burst, it's barely hitting 3 mil crits. I'm full mastery build, and I just cannot do enough damage to kill anybody. Now, there are situations where in 2v2 arena, if the dampening goes up high enough, I'm able to kill somebody. But my potential is just too weak. It just sucks. So, same thing with outlaw rogue. They're both just terrible. I would even say outlaw rogue is even worse. Outlaw just does no damage. Now, at the start, it for some reason actually was doing a lot of damage, but then all of a sudden they just stopped playing the game. Everybody just stopped playing because I think they realized that their damage compared to these guys were just so low that it's just like it wasn't even it's pointless to play this spec, and it's been pointless for years now, unfortunately. Keep in mind I have no water, so I'm trying to get this done quick because I am losing my voice. Um, let's go on the next one here, which is going to be Evoker, another broken spec. I face these guys consistently. I actually I despise these specs, especially Evokers, because they can dispel my Assassination Rogue Bleeds. Just same thing with Feral. It sucks, but it is what it is. Still, Evoker's really, really good. We're going to go with SP now. SP is the same, that's in the same boat. It does a lot of damage, has a ton of CDs, feels unkillable, and it just does a lot of damage. You put a Demo or a Destro on top of a SP, and you will win games. I promise you that. That's probably the comp I'll play when I push the Glad. I'm not even kidding. I'll just heal that because it's so broken. It's just Destro SP is one of the best specs in the entire game, in my opinion. I played it up to 2600, and we literally were killing people because the bolts were hitting so hard that it just wasn't even close. So let's talk about the next spec, Fire Mage. It's in the same boat. I actually see some people putting this higher up. That is so cap. If you believe Fire Mages are A tier and they can compete with an Assassin Rogue or a DH, you are absolutely out of your mind. They suck. They might do a lot of consistency. They may even do a lot of burst. They suck. They just suck. Defensively, they're weak. You face any Disc Priest or anybody that can take your block away, and you automatically lose the game. If they can purge your altar time, you just flop. You will die. I don't know what. In my opinion, I don't believe an SP is as good as like a fire, or I don't believe a fire mage is as good as an SP or any one of these specs. So I don't really care what anybody says about it. It may be fun to play, and personally, I actually love to play Fire. In Shadowlands, I wish I played it. It was one of the fun. I would rather play Fire Mage and Sub Rogue than any other spec in the entire game in Shadowlands. It was the best time I've ever had on WoW, and it was fun. That's the only time I've ever had fun on WoW, is during that, sequence. So the next one we're going to go with is going to be Frost DK. Frost DK is still ridiculous. I would say it's not as good as these guys, but it's still really good. It has a lot of potential. If you get your goes off good, you're able to win games. Now after the nerf, I did see the nerf on it. I don't really see them much, but they still do a lot of damage. A good Frost DK will still absolutely decimate. Uh, and that's just how it's going to be. But honestly, overall, it's not that good. But it is good if you know how to play it. It's like Sub Rogue, you can make it work, but it's just not great. It really isn't. Honestly, personally, I don't even believe Fire Mage is playable, but I think it does enough damage to deserve to be on the list. Unfortunately, I haven't faced a single Fire Mage yet. But I have seen it on like other people's clips and stuff. So I've seen it do a good amount of damage, so I'm gonna put it here. I know a lot of people might be salty about that, but I really never have any Frost or any Mage, hate, but that's okay. The next one we're going to be going off with is going to be Frost Mage, which even though it's not as good as these other specs, it's still really good. Defensively, it's really strong, and it does really well into a lot of these comps. You can play Frost Mage Arms Warrior, Frost Mage Fury Warrior, Frost Mage Demo Warlock. You have a lot of things to choose from. Like Frost Mage Feral Druid, so you have a good amount of options. However, please keep this in mind. I'm not saying Frost Mage is as good as any of these specs. However, I still have to put it up here because defensively and offensively, it's still better than these guys. I can't really put them low, so I have to put it here. I literally have to because it's still really good. It's not as good as these guys, but it's still up there. It's like low A. Hopefully, you guys are this far in the video and you realize I said that. Otherwise, people are going to be like, Frost Mage isn't good as DH. I realize that. I understand. But I can't put DH at S tier because I don't see it anymore. Just everybody's playing warlocks, ret, and hunters. That's it, and like warriors. I don't really see DHs anymore. I really don't. I can't really say if they're as good as these guys anymore. So I have to just guess. Personally, I just don't believe they're as good as the S tier. They're hitting literally 6 mil crits. I don't see that. I see. Well. Oh, I know people are gonna hate me for that. I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it because I kind of realize they still are really good. They still do a lot of damage, and they're still really good. uh, Keep in mind, I don't actually believe this, but I'm gonna put it up here because I can't say a frostmate. That's ridiculous. Come on now, I can't really say that. I literally can't. I just like said it in my mind. I was like, bro, DHs are 10 times better than frostmage. What? Come on now. Unfortunately, I can't put this down here. I can't because defensively and offensively, it goes well with everything. So it's like, even though it's not as good, it's still good. Sorry, I have allergies going in, so the next one we're going to be going with is going to be Arcane Mage. Arcane Mage, I don't really see them anymore. However, they are absolutely insane. If you play good as a now, the one downside to Arcane Mage is you have to be able to fake cast to get your Arcane Surge off. If you do not get your Arcane Surge off, it is absolutely terrible. It's unplayable. It sucks. But if you get your Arcane Surge off, you will absolutely destroy people. I've been literally 100 0'd multiple times during their Surge. However, it's the cast time that's the hard part because nobody's letting you get that off. They will knock you. They will do everything they can possible to stop you. It is absolutely annoying. That's why I don't play Arcane Mage because it's just I don't feel like sitting there for 10 minutes trying to get an Arcane Surge off. The next one we're going with is going to be Affliction Warlock. Affy is really, really good. It does a lot of damage, defensively really, really strong, and it just kills everybody. It works so well with everything. Affy Feral, I say Affy Assassination Rogue is by far the best comp for an Affliction Warlock. It just does so much damage. It's just unhealable damage. Um, Talking about other broken specs or other specs in general, the next one we're going to be going off with is going to be Disc Priest, which is still absolutely insane. I'd say Disc and Restless Shaman are by far the best specs in the game. Defensively, Disc Priest is really strong. Offensively, if you're playing the damage build in certain situations, it does so much damage. These are the only two specs that I think are just insane. Overall, they do a lot of healing. I'd say obviously Restless Shaman's better, so honestly, we could just say this. We'll just say that. Personally, I think Restless Shaman is the best healer in the game by far, and then it goes like Disc Priest. So, speaking of other classes here, let's go to the next one because again, I am losing my voice. I have no water, so I'm trying to get this over with. The next one we're going with is going to be Elemental Shaman. Ellies are actually still pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. I see them. Well, do we want to say that? No. Okay, we'll say they're pretty good. We'll say they're pretty good. Now, in 2v2 arena, they suck. However, in threes and solo shuffle, they do a lot of burst damage. They're still really good defensively and offensively. So I'm just gonna say they're up here too. So again, all these specs are actually good. They're actually really good. Any A tier spec is good. So you'll see them. They're really good when you see them. All these specs are viable. Now these guys are more of the bad boys. These guys don't get to play at school. They're always in detention, and they don't really get to do much. So unfortunately for them, and unfortunately for me, because I love Sub-Rogue, but I haven't been able to play it in like 2 years because it's just terrible. The next one we're going with is going to be Fury Warrior. Honestly, it's in the same boat. It really is. Defensively, it is so weak. Not having Die by the Swords makes melees just make you die. You die. Personally, I think all walls. I know this is a hot take. I feel like Arms Warriors, their wall should be for casters too. I think it should not only be for melees, but casters too. So you should not. It's basically like a bubble. It's only 6 seconds. It's not that insane. I think it should be a mini bubble. So you should not be able to get affected by casters or melees unless they're behind you. So let's go to the next one here, which is going to be Enhancement Shaman. It's in the same boat. Um, I would even say it's worse. Then I would even say it's like. See, the thing is, it still has potential. It still does a lot of burst damage. It's still good. I think Outlaw is the worst spec in the entire game, but it's still good. It's still good. The next one we're going with is going to be an Unholy DK, which is actually, not great right now. Not great. I think it's solid, but it's definitely needs some work. That's for sure. I've seen them do a lot of pressure, but they don't do enough burst to actually finish. So it's like, kind of like an Assassination Rogue, except they have no like. I just don't feel like they're that great. I feel like they're viable, but they still need another buff. After the stamina buffs and after the melees that are just way better, they lack the extra either defensives. I think defensively they're really weak. It's kind of, they're glass cannon really hard. I feel like I love facing DKs because they flop. It's the only time I can actually kill something through their wall. Because again, they have to use their wall offensively usually because they just cannot get their burst off. They just get perma CC'd. However, I think they're still viable, just like these guys. They're viable, but they're not great. They're really not. They're not as good as a warriors and assassination rogue. Any one of these specs are gonna flop, so they're just not good. However, it's still viable. Don't get me wrong. They're still viable. They still do good, but they're not as good as these guys. Let's be honest. The next one we have is going to be Evoker. Now, Evokers are actually not terrible, but they're not good. So Disc Race and Restless Shaman are just going to destroy everything else. I've faced a lot of Evokers when I'm on my Assassination rogue, ironically. So it feels like they're good, but if they face any one of these specs, they just flop, unfortunately. The next one we have is going to be Restitude. Same thing, same thing. They just flop. They die. And I'd love, and you'll see my Assassination Rogue video before you watch this. You'll see how much these guys flop. Every druid I face, they just cannot heal the pressure. Anybody that can do AoE damage, they cannot heal the pressure. It's too much. However, they're still really good. They have good CC, but they really fast. I literally have to drink like a minute and a half in the game because I'll be cycloning, and cyclone takes so much mana now. It's absolutely insane. So that's pretty much that. It's unfortunate. Now, survival hunters, I don't really see them often, but I know they're still good. So, still good, still not bad. I still see them a lot. Um, that being said, that's pretty much how I feel about that. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play Unholy DK and serve at low A. So, the reason I'm putting these here is survival hunters do a unhealable amount of damage during their burst. I still face them a lot. Now, I don't face them as much as these guys, but I face them a lot. Same thing with the UHDK. I don't really face them as much, and I'd say they still flop. But can I really say Unholy DK is as bad as a sub rogue or an enhance or a fire mage? I don't think I can. And I know a lot of people. Hopefully, you guys are again watching the video to the end, so you guys know where I put all my stuff. Because again, I end up switching a lot because I'm thinking of it, me personally, when I face them, and I just like I'm trying to like connect the dots. I'm trying to say, okay, so let me think about this. Is this as good as this? Is this as good as this? And I have to kind of put them in the right spot. Again, it's very hard to do, but it's kind again, it's kind of hard to do. Um, Unfortunately, I can't really get everything right, but that's the best I can do. The next one we have is going to be Feral Druid. I know you guys love Feral Druids, and they're actually pretty good. They do a lot of damage. Their CC is good. The one downside, and keep in mind these are going to be low A, so hopefully again you guys are watching. But that was my video being done. I don't know. Sorry about that. Feral Druids do a lot of burst damage. They're basically an assassination rogue. The one downside to Feral Druid, defensively, just like a UHDK, they absolutely take the most damage. They are glass cannon. I feel like every time I face these guys, I can actually kill them. However, they do a lot of damage. They do a lot of bursts. At least the good thing about Unholy DK is their silence. Their silence gives them that extra stun potential. So they'll stun you, and then they'll use their incap stun and then silence you. That 6 to 8 second duration is enough to get you dead. So that's why I'm putting it here. The next one we're going to be going over is going to be Windwalker. Windwalker, I know you guys love Windwalker. I actually haven't played it much yet, and it's absolutely nutty. I love playing Windwalker. I played it in Shadowlands up to 2600. I think it's one of the most fun specs in the game. I think it's the reason I like it so much is because it's like a sub rogue. Now, I will say, I wish they would tune down the stun. I wish they would make the duration 45 seconds, or maybe even less. I feel like having no stuns is kind of dumb. Having one stun, no every class should have 1 to 2 stuns. It doesn't have to be a whole lot, but I feel like having you have a demon warlock that has 9 stuns and 9 fears, and every one of these classes has so much stuff, and then you have these classes that do a lot of burst damage, but they literally have nothing to offer other than their stun. Like every one of these guys have like a 3 second stun. That's it. Maybe Pharaoh Dude has like a 5 with their maim, but these three just their stuns suck. It's their this one has the worst of them all. They have a really good stun, but it's like such a long CD. By the time you stun again, you have to kill them on that 1 minute window, or everybody has their CDs again. Every time I face a Windwalker, they do a ton of burst, but I'm usually safe from them because I can just heal through their burst. I'll just trinket it every time because as a healer, you have 1 minute trinkets, pretty much like 125. So it's like meh. The next one we're going to be going over is going to be Augmentation. Even though I've seen it a lot, let's be honest, it's not good. It really isn't. It doesn't matter. Unless it's literally one-shotting, it's not good. It really isn't. I literally faced it in 2v2 Arena, and they literally did 30% of my damage. I literally was doing like 3 mil, I was doing like 1.5 a second. They were barely doing like 600. So off their burst, they really just have nothing to offer. But on their burst, they're like a Frost DK. They do a ton of burst. And their setups are really strong. Like an Enhancement shaman. So it's still viable, but it's not great. Come on now. It's Augmentation. I've only faced one during the entire duration of the expansion, or the season. The next class we have is going to be H-Pal. H-Pal is another spec that is rising up. It really is. It's not bad at all. I would say H-Pal is I'd say it's worse than Disc, but it's still viable. It does a lot of healing. If you play it right, it can be really, really strong. It has a lot of CDs, a lot of potential. Now, its healing does kind of get bad during some classes. Like, I feel like it's not as good if I'm facing one of these guys because they just purge my bop. So it's like my bop's useless. That kind of sucks. And that's pretty much that. So HVAL is still really good. I definitely recommend playing it, but I'd say Disc and Wrestle Sham are just better. The next one we have is going to be Mistweaver. Mistweaver is actually, it's not the greatest right now. The reason it's not the greatest anymore is because it was doing those really high kicks. So when it was hitting kicks for like 2 to 3 mil, and it was doing it every 10 seconds, sometimes they'd get a proc to where it was almost they could use it 2 times, 3 times in a row. That's when they were broken. Now they literally are one of the most glassy healers, like a Retribution and a Mistweaver or a evoker. These three literally die in like 3 seconds. If I bleed them up, they literally they struggle so much to heal everything that I just end up killing them instead. So that's unfortunate. Still okay. They're still solid, but they're definitely not great. The next one we have is going to be Holy Priest. Holy Priest is absolutely garbage. I don't care what anybody says. It might do a good amount of healing, but defensively, it sucks. It's terrible. It has no defensive cooldowns to help their team. They have Guardian, and that's it. They have nothing else. So I can't click like Sack to stop the damage. I can't click a wall or orb or nothing. I can't Earthen Totem them. I have nothing to stop the damage from happening. That's automatically going to make you it's just not great. It's a really good burst healer, but that's about it. That's pretty much it for the video, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. I have lost my voice completely, so make sure you like this video. If you guys want to see more like this, let me know what you guys think down below. I love seeing your opinions. Again, I don't literally go through every class and be like, oh, well, this is exactly this is this. I just go through it the best I can. So hopefully, again, this is a video that you enjoyed. Let me know what you guys want to watch, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace, peace.